Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Good evening, sir. Yes, sir. So this time pre-board had a lot of MCQs, sir.
Okay. A lot. I
Sir,
mean, how many marks?
sir,
Good.
like,
70 marks, no?
sir, yes, sir, like
Hmm.
till 20th questions we had MCQs, sir, and
Hmm.
after that till 30, then the next two question till 32 question we had very less numericals and more theoretical based, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Overall, how is question paper?
Sir, because it had lot of MCQs, it is easy, sir.
Okay. Because of MCQ, it is easy.
Yes, sir.
How was long answer
It
key?
was like easy, sir, because they gave us like the paragraph, and then according to the paragraph, we had to answer the question, sir.
Yes. Next
Sir,
concept
they
is
even
yeah,
asked types of dialysis, sir, like the more into deep, sir.
types of dialysis.
Yes, sir.
Two types only, no? How many marks question?
So, what is dialysis? And then, like, there was some type of dialysis which was not there in textbook, sir. I don't remember the name, sir.
We have no electrodialysis.
Not electrodialysis, sir. It was something else, sir.
Next one, Dalton's law of partial pressure.
So, which chapter are you revising, sir?
States of matter.
So, the board is fully blurred, sir.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, now see. When two or more non-reacting gases are taken in one vessel, mixture of gases means non-reacting gases. The pressure exerted by the mixture of gas is equal to the sum of the partial pressure of individual gases. Suppose I'm taking the gas A, B, C. Three different gases are taken here, but these are not reacting. A is not reacting with B and C, so there is no reaction between these gases. Two or more non-reacting gases enclosed in a vessel, the pressure exerted by these gases, that is P total, equal to sum of the partial pressure of individual gases, means Pa plus Pb plus Pc. This is only Dalton's law of partial pressure. Okay, now how this partial pressure is related to mole fraction and total pressure, we will see now. Suppose gases A, B, C are noble gases. Sorry, ideal gases. A, B, C are ideal gases. From ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. So here Pa is equal to P is equal to nRT by V. Pa is equal to NaRT by V. Pb is equal to NbRT by V. Partial pressure of C, gas C, is equal to NcRT by V. According to Dalton's law of partial pressure, P total is equal to, we are adding these three, Pa plus Pb plus Pc. So these all having RT by V is common. RT by V taking common. Then Na plus Nb plus Nc. This is P total. Now Pa by Pt is equal to NaRT by V divided by Pt. It becomes reverse now. V by RT into Na plus Nb plus Nc. So V cancel, RT cancel. Then Pa by Pt is equal to Na by Na plus Nb plus Nc. So this Na by Na plus Nb plus Nc, we may write as mole fraction of A, no? Mole fraction of A this is. So Pa by Pt is equal to, or partial pressure of A is Pa is equal to Xa into Pt. This is the formula. So like Pb, Pc also may write. Partial pressure of C is equal to, B is equal to mole fraction of B into total pressure. Partial pressure of C is equal to mole fraction of C into total pressure. Just keep submitting Dalton's law of partial pressure and I write this formula. P total is total pressure, Pa, Pb, Pc are partial pressure of gases A, B, C. Now relations, these three. Note down these formulas, I will give one problem. These formulas we are using in chemical kinetics also. The problem is a neon dioxide mixture contains neon dioxide mixture contains 70.6 grams grams dioxygen and 167.5 grams of neon. If the pressure of the mixture of the gas in the cylinder is pressure of the mixture of the gases in the cylinder is 25 bar. What is the partial pressure of dioxygen and neon? O2 and neon. So these formulas only we are using. So here mass of dioxygen and neon is given. Mass of O2 is equal to 70.6 grams. Mass of neon is equal to 167.5 gram. And total pressure also given. Total pressure is equal to 25 bar. Now we have to calculate partial pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of neon. So, formulas. Partial pressure of A is equal to P total into Xa. This means we have to calculate its mole fractions. Mole fractions we need to calculate for oxygen and neon. Okay, first number of moles of oxygen. Mass 70.6 divided by dioxygen mass is 32. So its value 2.21 mole. I mean number of moles of neon. 167.5 divided by neon mass 20. 8.375 mole. Number of moles of oxygen, number of moles of neon. Next, mole fraction of oxygen and mole fraction of neon. Mole fraction of oxygen is equal to number of moles of oxygen 2.21 divided by 2.21 plus number of moles of neon 8.375. So mole fraction of O2 is equal to 0.21. We know mole fraction of oxygen, then mole fraction of neon becomes 1 minus 0.21. That is 0.79. Mole fraction of neon is equal to 1 minus 0.21. 7 point, sorry. Sorry, 0.7. Now apply this formula. Partial pressure of oxygen, partial pressure of neon.
Neon is 28, sir. The
Neon is
molar mass, sir.
20. Molar mass of neon 20. Partial pressure of O2 is equal to P total 25. Formula is this one. P total into mole fraction of O2. 25 into mole fraction of O2 0.21. So value 5.25 bar. Then partial pressure of xenon, sorry, neon. Yes, 25 minus 5.25. It is 19.75. Otherwise, you multiply P total 25 into 0.79, give same answer. Next concept, Graham's law of diffusion or effusion. First see what is a diffusion and effusion. Diffusion means the process of spreading of molecules of a gas throughout the available volume. That's called diffusion. So a gas's molecules are spreading through its available volume. That's we are calling diffusion. Effusion means suppose a gas is enclosed in a cylinder. So make a small hole. Is the gas is escaping. Gas is escaping from this cylinder. That process we are calling effusion. But both having same formulas. So first rate of diffusion or effusion formula. Rate of diffusion, effusion is equal to volume of the gas diffused or effused divided by time taken. So we can write it is V by T. Rate R is equal to V by T. Okay, now here we are comparing rate of diffusion of two different gases. So suppose diffusion or effusion, whatever that is, rate one is considered as R1, another one is rate of the gas is R2. Now under the similar conditions of temperature and pressure, the rate of diffusion of gases is inversely proportional to its densities. Inversely proportional to the square root of its densities. That means R1 by R2 is equal to square root of D2 by D1. And yesterday we derived some formulas. D is equal to Pm by RT. We derived this relation. That means the density is directly proportional to molar mass. So we can modify this formula as R1 by R2 is equal to square root of M2 by M1. Note down here various formulas are giving, but all are useful to solve problems. Suppose in the problem given different densities, we are using this. Suppose just they mentioned what is the gas, neon, and another one is oxygen only. Then we know what are their molar mass. We can calculate easily what are their rate of diffusion relation. Suppose two different gases are at two different pressures. Now the relation is R1 by R2 is equal to P1 by P2 square root of, you can write M2 by M1 or D2 by D1. Relation with pressure means rate of diffusion of any gas is directly proportional to pressure but inversely proportional to molar masses and densities. Next, other formulas. Two different gases are at diffusing at different temperatures. That is also T1 by T2 square root of M2 by M1. Here with the temperature also they are in directly proportional. Oh, wait. We need to take in under root temperatures. Next, another formula with volume. Two different gases are diffused at two different volumes at the same time. A relation comes R1 by R2 is equal to V1 by T, V2 by T equal to square root of, we may take anything, D2 by D1 or M2 by M1. Now TT is getting cancelled. V1 by V2 is left. R1 by R2 is equal to V1 by V2 equal to square root of M2 by M1. This is also note down formula, this also. Okay, suppose two gases are diffused or effused in the same volume but at two different timings. Relation is here, reverse will come, R1 by R2 is equal to T2 by T1. R1 by R2 is equal to T2 by T1 equal to root of M2 by M1. Note this formula also. Okay. See problems. Which will diffuse faster? Which will diffuse faster? Ammonia or CO2? What are their relative rates of diffusion? See, lower the molar mass, it having the higher rate of diffusion. Now here two gases are given, ammonia and CO2. Ammonia molar mass is 17 grams, or you can take one molecule. Okay, take molar mass. Carbon dioxide is 44. So ammonia diffuse faster. What are their relative rates of diffusion? The rate of ammonia divided by rate of CO2 is equal to square root of molar mass of CO2 is 44 and molar mass of ammonia is 17. Resultant rate of ammonia is equal to, gives 1.609 rate of CO2. So rate of ammonia is 1.609 times faster than rate of carbon dioxide. So next problem. Equal volumes of two gases A and B. Diffuse through a porous pot. Diffuse through a porous pot in 20 and 10 seconds respectively. If the molar mass of A is 80, calculate the molar mass of B. Calculate the molar mass of B.
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, your question after porous what, sir?
porous pot, POT.
Sir, and after 20 and 10 second.
That is respectively.
Oh, okay, sir.
So A and two gases are diffusing through porous pot. One is in 20 seconds, another one is in 10 seconds. So molar mass of A is given 80, molar mass of B we have to calculate. So with now relation we have to take with time and molar masses. Rate of A by rate of B is equal to relation is time B by time A equal to square root of MB by MA. Next, TB is 10 seconds. TA is 20 seconds is equal to square root of molar mass of B. We have to calculate molar mass of A 80 is 1 by 2 equal to square root of MB by 80. So we'll do square on both sides. This becomes 1 by 4. This becomes MB by 80. So now MB is equal to 80 by 4. Molar mass of B is equal to 20 gram or 20 gram per mole. Okay, next problem. Through the two ends of the glass tube, through the two ends of the glass tube, of length 200 centimeters. Hydrogen chloride and ammonia are allowed to enter. So HCl and ammonia gases are allowed to enter. At what distance ammonium chloride will first appears? So here glass tube length is 200 centimeters. From one end ammonia gas is passed and from another end HCl gas is passed into this glass tube. So from this end ammonia gas is passed and through this end HCl gas is passed. This level of questions, this kind of questions asking in a higher level of competitive exams also, but very easy. So which gas diffuses faster now? Which gas diffuses faster, ammonia or HCl? Tell me based on their molecular mass. Likita, which gas moves faster?
NH3.
Yeah, NH3 moves faster. Okay, now we'll calculate how much faster NH3 is more than HCl. So rate of ammonia divided by rate of HCl is equal to square root of molar mass of HCl is 36.5 and ammonia is 17. So this value is 1.465. So ammonia moves 1.465 times faster than HCl. That means suppose HCl is just moved 1 centimeter, NH3 is moves 1.465 centimeters. Okay, now we'll find at what distance ammonium chloride is formed. This is also colorless, this is also colorless. When ammonium chloride forms, it forms a white fume. Distance traveled in the tube by ammonia. By ammonia is equal to 1.465 divided by 1 plus 1.465 into 200. Its value is 118.9 centimeters. So ammonia moves 118.9 centimeters. So at this distance, remaining distance is traveled by, at the same time, remaining distance is traveled by HCl. Here we are observing ammonium chloride. Conclusion point is NH4Cl will first appear at a distance of 118.9 centimeter from NH3 end. From NH3 end, this much distance. If we want to write HCl, 200 minus 118.9. So it's nearly 81.1. 81.1 centimeter from HCl side. From HCl end it is 81.1 centimeter. Okay, next concept, kinetic molecular theory of gases. So we derived know some formulas: Boyle's law, Charles' law, Avogadro's law, and ideal gas equation. These all are derived based on this assumptions only, assumptions in kinetic molecular theory of gases. Full theoretically, carefully listen these here points. The first point is the size of the molecules of a gas is in a given volume is negligible. So volume of a gas molecule is very small. Next, in between the gases molecules, very large gap is present. That's what volume of gas is negligible. That's also the point. Next one is gases molecules are considered as a hard spheres. Gases molecules are considered as a hard spheres, and when gas molecules are collide each other, collision between the gas molecules, it results a pressure. A pressure is exerted when two gas molecules are collide each other, or when a gas molecule is collide with the walls of the container, it results a pressure. Next, the effect of gravity on gaseous molecules are negligible. So gravity is not working on gaseous molecule. That's what gas is freely moving. Next, the interaction between the gas molecules also neglected. The attractive force or repulsive force, whatever present between the gaseous molecules are neglected. So these two are major important points. Attractive force or repulsive force between gaseous molecules negligible. And another one, volume of a gas molecule. When compared to total volume of gas. Next, with the increase of temperature, the kinetic energy of the gas molecules are increased. That's what kinetic energy of, or average kinetic energy of gas molecules directly proportional to absolute temperature. So with increase of temperature, kinetic energy of gas molecules also increases. Next one more point is the molecules are supposed to be moving continuously in different direction. Means gas molecules are moving randomly in different directions. It won't have any proper direction. Okay, this is only theory. First point is gaseous molecules are considered as a hot spheres, and spherical also. Gas molecules are considered as a spherical hot spheres. Okay. Next point, in between the gas molecules, attractive forces are neglected and volume of a gas molecule neglected compared to the total volume, and the effect of gravity on gaseous molecules negligible. Next, average kinetic energy of gas molecules increases with increase of temperature. Next, the gap between the gaseous molecules, very high. Between gaseous molecules, large gap is present. That's what these are freely moving, and volume of gas molecular volume also neglected when compared with total volume. That's only here point is given. Okay, based on these assumptions, kinetic gas equation is given. Note down this one, kinetic gas equation. PV is equal to 1 by 3 mnu square. From this equation only derived ideal gas equation and all Boyle's law, Charles law, Avogadro's law. P is pressure of gas, V is volume of gas, M is mass of gas molecule. N is number of gas molecules. U is RMS velocity. PV is equal to 1 by 3. Suppose N is Avogadro number of gas molecules. Suppose N is Avogadro number. Then Avogadro number into molar mass of, mass of one molecule. It results molecular mass, capital M, U square. Since if N is equal to Na, Avogadro number, then small m into N becomes capital M, molar mass. From this, we will derive U value. M U square is equal to 3 PV. M U square is equal to, instead of PV, we may write RT. PV is equal to N RT for 1 mole of ideal gas. So 3 RT, and U square is equal to 3 RT by M. U is equal to square root of 3 RT by M. Copy this formula, 3 RT by M. This is RMS velocity. Next, we have 3 different type of velocity. I will write formula, those formulas also. We have 3 different type of velocity. The first one is the most probable velocity. So most probable velocity denoted with alpha. So frequently asking this definition. Velocity possessed by maximum fraction of molecule, that is called most probable velocity. Velocity possessed by maximum fraction of molecules. Called most probable velocity. So this formula is alpha is equal to square root of, this is RMS velocity 3RT by m. Most probable velocity is 2RT by m. 2RT by m. Next one, average velocity. This is average velocity, just it is the average of velocity possessed by the different molecules. So formula we are writing V is equal to square root of 8RT by pi m. No, 8RT by pi m. Yep. And Maxwell distribution curve. See, suppose a gas is enclosed in a cylinder. All the gas molecules does not possess same velocity. There are some molecules having very low velocity, some molecules having very high velocity, some molecules possess some different moderate velocities. Those are represented by graphically. This is the graph. So this is we are calling most probable velocity. Most probable velocity means there is not much speed. The fraction of molecules. This indicates maximum fraction of molecules. This is maximum fraction of molecules possessing velocity. This is called most probable velocity, alpha. This is at T1 temperature. Suppose temperature is increased, then temperature is directly proportional to kinetic energy of gas molecules. That's what with increase of temperature, velocity of gas molecules is increases. Then a graph is obtained with this graph is broadened. Like this. So this is at T2 temperature. 1 minute. So this is now most probable velocity, alpha, at T2 temperature. See here, with increase of temperature, what happened? Most probable velocity increased or decreased?
Decrease.
The fraction of the molecules possessing most probable velocity is decreased, but its velocity increased. Careful, velocity of gas molecules is increased, but the fraction of molecules possessing most probable velocity, that is decreased. Suppose at T1 temperature, at low temperature, suppose at 35 degrees centigrade, here 100 molecules are possessing this velocity. If you increase the temperature from here to 40 degrees centigrade, of course that gas molecule velocity increased, but that fraction is decreased to 80 or 50. So the fraction of the molecules possessing most probable velocity is decreased with increase of temperature. Here T2 is greater than T1. So frequently asking question this is. So otherwise giving this graph and T1, T2 is giving what is the relation between these two. T2 greater than this graph, lower graph having higher temperature than top graph, this one. Okay. So according to Maxwell, gases are possessing different velocity. These velocities we are studying in three different ways. One is here average, first one most probable velocity and average velocity. Another one RMS velocity. We already gave those three formulas. I'll write that relations between the three different type of velocities. RMS velocity is root of 3RT by m. Most probable velocity root of 2RT by m, and average velocity v is equal to root of 8RT by pi m. Relation between average velocity by RMS velocity is equal to, I'm writing, okay, 8RT by pi m into square root of m by 3RT. So it gives resultant value 0.921. So V's average velocity is 0.921 times of RMS velocity. Now relation between most probable velocity and RMS velocity. 2RT by m into root of m by 3RT. Relation gives 0.816. Next, ratio of three different type of velocities. Alpha, u, and v equal to v and u. Alpha is 2RT by m is to average velocity root 8RT by pi m is to u 3RT by m. Value is 1 is to 1.124 is to 1 to 8. So, this relations and this values directly asking in MCQ question by these formulas. See these three values. Which one is higher speed? So here given three different type of velocities, alpha, v, and u. Which one is bigger, or which one is a high velocity? Bano? Hello? RMS velocity, right? RMS molecules possessing RMS velocity is the higher speed, and I will draw that graph also. This is a fraction of molecules. Molecular speed. This is the graph. This point indicates most probable velocity. This point, alpha, and little bit lower velocity. Better to give sharp peak. This is average velocity. This is most probable velocity. Sorry, that is V is RMS velocity. See, molecules pursuing RMS velocity having higher speed. Molecules pursuing most probable velocity having low velocity or low speed. Okay, next node, right relation, average kinetic energy and absolute temperature. No need derivation. Kinetic energy is equal to 3 by 2 RT. So for 1 mole of gas, we may write now PV is equal to RT. So we can modify that. This is actual formula, relation between kinetic energy and temperature. This is also, we may consider 3 by 2 PV. So next, average kinetic energy. Equal to 3 by 2 RT by NA. NA is here Avogadro number. 3 by 2 R by NA to T. So 3 by 2 KT. K is Boltzmann constant. This K average.
what is that K Boltzmann constant value, sir?
Oh, constant value, that is 6.055. Okay, K value 1.373 into 10 power minus 23.
So 1 point?
1.373.
10 to the power what, sir?
Just wait. Hmm, 1.373 into 10 power minus 23. Okay. The next concept is behavior of real gases, deviation from ideal behavior. Okay, first of all, see what is the small difference between real gas and ideal gas. So gases which obeys all gas laws, especially ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. Or even Boyle's law also may consider. Gases which obeys all gas laws over the entire range of temperature and pressure. You take at any temperature and any pressure, these gases follows ideal behavior. Those gases we are calling ideal gases. Suppose gases which behave like ideal gas at high temperature and low pressure. Those gases are called real gases. Gases which behave like ideal gases at high temperature and low pressure are called real gases. So the concept of ideal gas is just a hypothetical concept. So no gas follow PV is equal to nRT at all temperatures and pressure. Only at any gas at particular temperature and pressure only it behave somewhat like ideal behavior, not even 100% also. Those gases we are calling real gases. So note on that. Only definition of real gases. I think you know ideal gas definition, gases which follow PV is equal to nRT or which follow all gas laws over the entire range of temperature and pressure. But real gases which behave like ideal at high temperature and low pressure. At high temperature and low pressure, called real gases. Okay, now carefully observe these two graphs. So here using Boyle's law only. On x-axis P and y-axis PV. Suppose if a gas is ideal gas, it gives a straight line parallel to x-axis. If gas is ideal gas. So you can see in the graphs of Boyle's law, P versus PV graph, it is a straight line to x-axis. Okay, if gas is ideal. Suppose if we take some different gases like hydrogen and helium, they are giving this kind of lines. Hydrogen and helium. I need to give 2 more lines also. This is hydrogen, helium. Next, carbon monoxide and methane. This is methane. This is carbon monoxide. Helium, hydrogen, methane, carbon monoxide. See these gases. Suppose helium, hydrogen, these gases are ideal. These also should follow this line. But these are not giving these lines. Hydrogen and helium and hydrogen, they are showing positive deviation from the ideal gas, ideal behavior, and carbon monoxide and methane, they are showing negative deviation from ideal behavior up to some extent of pressure. If pressure further increases, those gases, carbon monoxide and methane, also showing positive deviation only. So they are not behaving like ideal. So if gas is ideal, I think this values already we discussed. Pressure and volume, PV values. Pressure is 1 atmosphere, volume of a gas is 1000 ml. Now pressure is 2 atmosphere, volume must become 500 ml. Pressure is 4 atmosphere, this should become 250 ml. And it is 8, it should become 125 ml. And multiply PV value. All are giving 1000 only. That's what ideal gas is giving this straight line. Suppose same values if you measure for these gases, hydrogen, suppose helium only. If you multiply pressure and volume, it is somewhat higher than expected value. These gases, the carbon monoxide and methane, first they are giving lower values than expected. So these only deviations are shown by real gases from ideal behavior. And the extent of deviation from ideal behavior, we can calculate with the help of compressibility factor. So compressibility factor formula is extent of deviation from ideal behavior measured from compressibility factor. Compressibility factor Z is equal to PV by nRT. No, this is also asking in competitive levels. Compressibility factor Z is equal to PV by nRT. Okay. So if Z is equal to 1, when Z is equal to 1 possible? If PV is equal to nRT. If PV is equal to nRT, then Z value will comes 1, no? Z is equal to 1, then it show gas behave like ideal. When Z is equal to 1, gas behave like ideal gas. Suppose if Z value is greater than or not equal to 1, maybe it may be greater than 1 or below 1, that is showing deviation. If Z not equal to 1, then gas show deviation from ideal behavior. So gases show deviation from ideal behavior. Suppose Z here, to this point continuation, if Z greater than 1, if Z value greater than 1, that is showing positive deviation. Suppose these lines only, hydrogen and helium, from beginning onwards, they are showing positive deviation from ideal behavior. And if Z value is below 1, like carbon monoxide, methane, some other gases also there, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, those are first showing negative deviation. Means those Z value comes below 1. That's what they show negative deviation. Note down that point also. If Z greater than 1, show positive deviation. If Z less than 1, show negative deviation. If Z greater than 1, show positive deviation from ideal behavior. Like positive deviation, hydrogen, helium. If Z less than 1, show negative deviation. Like carbon monoxide, methane, carbon dioxide, methane, carbon monoxide, etc. See, gases which we can easily liquefy means polar gases are there, no, like HCl, sulfur dioxide, HCl, polar gas, polar molecule, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide. These gases we can liquefy very easily. Very easily we can liquefy. Water molecule also, ammonia also. Very easy to liquefy. These all are gases are showing negative deviation only. Gases which are showing negative deviation, those gases very easy to liquefy. Especially polar gases. Polar gases are showing negative deviation and easy to liquefy. Okay, now just I will explain why gases are showing deviation from ideal behavior. I gave you a definition of real gases. Real gases are behaving like ideal gases at high temperature and low pressure only.
Sorry, not able to see.
Not visible. At high temperature and low pressure. Real gases behave ideal. Okay. Listen, why in other temperatures and pressure, real gases are not behaving like ideal gases? Careful, listen. In the kinetic theory of gases, two assumptions are given. The first assumption is volume of a gas molecule is neglected when compared to total volume of a gas. Okay, that is correct. If temperature is high, see, if temperature is high, gas expands. Even small amount of gas in 5 grams, 10 grams gas also occupies a large amount of space at high temperature. So that time, volume of a gas molecule we can neglect when compared with total volume of gas. That's what at high temperature gas is behaving like ideal. And even at low pressure, low pressure also. When pressure is low, in such case also gas occupying less high volume, no? Gas occupies high volume when temperature is high, pressure is low. Think practically. If temperature is very high, pressure is very low, then gaseous molecules are moving far apart. And small amount of gas also occupies large space. In such case, one gas molecule volume we can neglect when compared with total volume of a gas. That's what here PV is equal to nRT, correct. And even real gases also behave like ideal at high temperature and low pressure. Okay, now I'm taking reverse at low temperature and high pressure. Low temperature and high pressure. If temperature is low and pressure is high, then what happens? Volume of a gas, it comes very less. Volume of a gas becomes decreases. See, this is a bigger volume gas molecule. Here volume is very small gas molecules. Here are the gas molecules. So here we may neglect volume of a one gas molecule, we neglect with the total volume, compare with total volume. But here we cannot neglect. Total at low temperature and high pressure, volume of gas becomes very small. In such case, one gas molecule volume we can't neglect. But here we neglected, that's the problem. In the kinetic theory of gases, at any condition we neglected. We neglected volume of a gas and also neglected attractive force or repulsive force between the gas molecules. That's what, because of the two wrong assumptions, gases are showing deviation from the ideal behavior. Those two conditions are correct when at high temperature and low pressure. At these two conditions, the two assumptions are correct. But at this condition, at low temperature and high pressure, volume of a gas will becomes very small. In this case, we can't neglect volume of gas. Not only volume, and even interactions between the gas molecule, attractive forces or repulsive forces, whatever, we should not neglect in this condition. But in this condition, we can neglect. That's what we gave real gases definition also. At high temperature and low pressure, real gases behave like ideal gases. They follow PV is equal to nRT. Here in this case, we can neglect attractive force between the gas molecule and volume of a gas molecule. But in this condition, not possible to neglect volume of gas molecule and another one, interaction between the gas molecules. Because of this reason, at low temperature and high pressures, gases are showing deviation from ideal gas. So for this one, another graph is so in this case, PV is equal to nRT, not correct. PV not equal to nRT. So this is the real ideal gas. This is ideal gas curve. This is the real gas. I think I have to reverse it. Take P on y-axis, V on x-axis. Now observe these two graphs. Only here pressure term I took. I didn't take temperature term. Pressure is high. Pressure is high. We can see more gap here. That means real gas is showing much deviation from ideal behavior at high pressure. If pressure is low here, pressure is low pressure, but it's not showing exactly ideal behavior, somewhat closely behaving like ideal gas. Here deviation is very less we are observing here in this case. It means at low pressure, gases are behaving like ideal, but at high pressure, gases are showing much deviation. In earlier graph also, you can see this is ideal gas, and these are the positive deviation showing gases like helium and hydrogen, and other gases, carbon monoxide and methane. See, at low pressure, pressure is low. Pressure is low pressure. These lines are very closer to ideal behavior here. If pressure is increases, see how much deviation they are showing. At high pressure, gases are showing much deviation from ideal behavior from this line. So main cause is we made wrong assumptions in a kinetic theory of gases. One is the interaction between the gases molecule is neglected. That is a wrong assumption. And another one, volume of a gas molecule is negligible compared to total volume. That also wrong assumption. So those two are corrected and given van der Waals equation. We will see in next class about van der Waals equation and liquefaction of gases. Just in 20 minutes or in half an hour, I will complete concept. Then we will see MCQ questions. Anything doubt about this deviation of real gases from ideal behavior? Banu? Tejashwini? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Just note down the 2 points only, written in mind the 2 points. The 2 points only correct when temperature is high, pressure is low. The 2 points are wrong when temperature is low, pressure is high. Okay, this condition, these are correct. 2 assumptions are correct. That's what giving PV is equal to nRT. But at these conditions, those 2 assumptions are wrong. That's what PV not equal to nRT. Because of this condition only at high pressure showing high deviation, even at low temperature also observing same kind of deviations. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.